Survivor Now podcast.
I was busy on the beach, like I was on Survivor.
I don't believe anything you say on Survivor. I almost called it.
It's now time.
I'm so excited.
Oh no!
I do love you, but bye.
Oh, it's so wrong.
I gotta go. I got something new. Not as exciting as this. I'll tell you that right now, but.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Survivor Now podcast. And we are back for our pre-show. We are here talking about getting ready for episode 5 of Survivor 49. Obviously, no, I'm not Randy. Different accent, different country, but I'm here taking the reins this week with the lovely Tori. Tori, how are we?
I'm doing well. I was saying to Randy and Ali, I think you heard me say this. This week I'm doing a juice cleanse, so I'm a little bit feeling it a little different. But I'm hanging in. I got my Stanley, and so yeah, if you feel like I have a little bit of a brain fog, similar to Sophie on a recent episode of Survivor, you just got to give me a second. But I'm doing well otherwise.
We're always allowed to have brain fog.
Yeah,
I have it multiple times a day.
We give each other grace, we give each other space, and we're here for each other.
Exactly. But we've also got a very special guest with us from Survivor Specialist. It is the Survivor Specialist himself, Phil from Survivor Specialist. Phil from Survivor Specialist. Have I done a good job yet of plugging Survivor Specialist?
That's it. Yeah, I know. I said I was going to come on here and I was going to plug it every other minute, but I'll give you a break there because you did good there. And I got to ask about this juice cleanse because I've made it 3 days into one before, and then I said the next time I'll make it 4 days, and then I made it 2 days. So how many days are we at right now?
So you know what? I'm like right in the middle of what you're saying. This cleanse is a 3.5 day one. So like I'm on only day 2 right now. So like it's not that bad of a cleanse overall. And I'm hanging in. Like it's not terrible and it doesn't taste that bad. So I'll let you all know where I'm at on day 3.5. But right now I'm feeling okay. A little foggy.
It's fine. Hopefully this stream can get you up and ready and kind of remembering everything. So
yeah, I mean, I'm feeling hyped. I mean, I'm always getting excited about Survivor, so hopefully it'll take my mind off of it. We'll be feeling good.
I mean, that is the job of this pre-show. We're getting hyped. We're getting ready for the next episode, which, by the way, thank you for everyone that's tuning in. Just a reminder, over this way by Phil, there is the live chat if anyone wants to join in on YouTube. We've already got some people. We've got Jay in the chat saying hi to Phil. And he's also saying hi to us, but, we're not that important at this moment. We've also got Gabe saying, I'm ready for the next predictable vote, even with 2 tribes. Well, obviously, we're going to talk a little bit about the last episode and kind of make our predictions for this episode. But before we do, on the pre-show, we always love to do a little icebreaker here and there. So, Tori and Phil, being massive Survivor fans that you are, I mean, Phil, I've heard this, you've seen every Survivor season twice?
Mm-hmm. Except for 41. Except for 41.
It's all right. It's all right. I know more about that because of Abe, but that's a whole different story. And Tori, I know you are a historian from just knowing you. So, our icebreaker for today is I need both of you to name the first boots of the first 10 seasons. So this is the first person voted out of the first 10 seasons.
Okay.
So,
perfect.
Do we alternate, or how do you want to do this?
You can alternate. If you're not sure, you can refer to a friend, i.e. each other. You can't find a friend in this.
I mean, I can go first if that's all right with you, Phil.
Yeah, go ahead. That's fine.
Okay, I mean, Sonia was the first person voted out of Survivor.
Yeah.
Borneo.
Of course.
Iconic woman. Love. R.I.P.
Yeah.
I don't know if you want to go next.
I mean, speaking of iconic women, rocks. Deb Eaton.
Deb Eaton from Australian Outback. Okay, yeah, 2 for 2.
Okay. Definitely. Okay. Can't tell you Africa. I feel bad.
I got you if you need it.
Let's rewatch this. What was it?
It's Diane.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have my hands up because I'm proving I'm not typing anything. It's Diane.
It is the lovely Diane Ogden. Yep. So number 4 is Marquesas. I will say, when Randy was trying to make me do this was the first one I was like off the top of my head because I just love Marquesas.
Okay, can I just say, out of the first 10 seasons, I might only know 3 more. so Phil, why don't you take this one?
Holy Peter.
Yeah.
And they thought he was meaning holy, like spiritual, but he really meant no, you just have holes in your body. You have a lot of holes.
Yep.
Crushing it.
I do love that. Okay, next up, we are going to Thailand. I will admit this was the one that I just went, no. Sorry,
This
Thailand.
is my least favorite season of all time, and I will be honest, I very likely will never come back to this season, so go for it, Phil.
John.
Yeah, it is, Mr. John Raymond.
He was recently arrested or something. That was not too long ago.
Oh,
so
God,
yeah.
I heard about that.
Yeah.
Also, I'm just saying this now. No one look at the. Anthony did
Oh,
a great
yeah, I mean-
job somewhere. No one look at that. So well done, Anthony.
If you hadn't said it, I
Let's
wouldn't
get
have looked. Now I'm going to the
started.
private chat. All of a sudden, Tori's going to rattle off the next 4.
I mean, I suddenly become a genius. I'm not gonna look in the chat though, don't worry, because the next one is also one that I wasn't positive on. So go for it, Phil. On
Wow,
Amazon.
this is Amazon, says Ryan.
Yeah, it is Ryan.
Yep.
It is
Can't
Ryan.
get
And
across the
now,
balance beam.
Pearl Islands, I do know because this is one that is one of my favorite seasons. I've seen it like 4 or 5 times at least. Nicole. Bluegrass.
Nicole. Icon Nicole.
Love. So yeah, that was Nicole. Obviously, All Stars was Tina.
Yeah, obviously, All Stars was Tina. Now Vanuatu. Again, this was one that I knew straight away.
I know this one. Yeah.
Go for it, Phil.
Brooke.
Yeah.
Huge fan. Poor guy.
And then wait, so Palau is like there's a technicality because there were 2 people that were sent home without really playing. So are we going with those 2 people?
I said what I said. I said
Yolanda.
Yeah.
Okay, sure.
It was Yolanda. Yolanda was technically the first person voted out. Because I checked this because Randy gave me this and Randy was like, yeah, it's Wanda or Jonathan. I was like, they weren't technically voted out. They were eliminated. They weren't voted out.
I like to mix up both their names. But yeah, Jolanda. Okay, so Jolanda, we're saying Jolanda.
Yeah,
Right,
it is Jolanda.
She wins immunity. First person to win immunity and be voted out in the same episode. There you go.
Yep.
Correct.
R.I.P. Love her.
I just want to give a shout out, if I'm allowed.
Go for it.
Jim Lynch for Guatemala. I just wanted to say that, just so that Jim knows people still think about him.
Okay.
I feel like at this point, it's just like we're just going to go through every single first thing.
Is that the whole pre-show?
That's the whole pre-show.
And we're done. I have to be honest, I wasn't prepared for first boots. Like, I wasn't prepared for that. But
there we go. And I will say, well done to everyone else in the chat for doing it. I mean, Zan's, I need to get this comment going. Love Survivor trivia. I'm terrible remembering details like that. So much respect for those who do. And that would be you two, Whitney.
I mean, Phil.
Did you know Jolanda? I feel like I jumped on you there, Tori.
Well, no, I did know Jolanda, but like I was trying to see if like the 2 people were gonna count. So like if they were gonna count, I knew those 2 people as well. But
I feel like it was me kind of subtly just going, I specified.
Well,
but
we did a Palau rewatch Patreon over the summer, so it's pretty fresh. But also, Africa should have also been fresh in my mind because I, on my own, rewatched it over the summer and I didn't remember the first boot, so that's on me.
And there is just the plug as well, Patreon. Go for it. But obviously, we have got a whole episode to get ready for. But let's quickly touch on last episode because obviously I didn't get to speak to either of you 2 about it. So initial reactions on episode 4. We had the swap. Everyone kind of went like this. So Phil, I'm going to go to you first. What was your kind of thoughts and feelings about last episode and the swap?
I think production really messed up. That's kind of what the feeling over on our podcast was that production could have done a better job with the swap. They were in a unique situation of a 6-6-2
Mhm.
And because of the way the swap worked out, it worked out in the least exciting way possible. Almost to the point where a 4-2-1 was never going to work, because if the 1 joins the 2, it's a 4-3. Even if there's some dissension among the ranks, you now have to hope that the other person sees that, who's on the outs. This is a situation where I feel like they either should have done a schoolyard pick where Alex and Sophie were the captains. They should have done something. It should have been something different. Even what they did with Denise and Malcolm in Philippines, where one of you go to each tribe, that's fine. Doing it the way they did was so random, and maybe some people like the randomness. It didn't work out at all. I actually think that this was a disaster, and I think that tonight's episode, I think it's going to be super boring, because I think we know who's going home, and I don't know if the show can edit to make it super exciting at this point.
So 2 things. Number 1, what podcast was that again?
Oh yeah, that was Survivor Specials. Good. Yeah,
there you go.
Making sure.
and number 2, like I completely agree with you. I did the after show last week, and I literally said to everyone, I was like, imagine if they'd done a schoolyard pick and it was Alex and Sophie as the captains. That would have been so exciting. I would have loved that, because it would have definitely, like, obviously really woven things around, because I definitely think both of them, they had no idea about the dynamics, and they probably would have been like, right, let's make things a bit fairer. Let's make things a bit more spicier. Tori, what did you think about it all?
Yeah, I agree. I love a schoolyard pick, first of all, too, just to see, I mean, the drama of it all with like one person picking the other. Love it. Love to see it. And the last time we had a schoolyard pick, we didn't even get to see the pick itself. So yeah, that was a bummer. So yeah, I mean, that would be an interesting idea that I didn't even personally think about. But yeah, I was underwhelmed as well. I mean, we all knew how the vote was going to play out. Some people, so I was at a watch party the last week, so I wasn't even on the pre-show, but some people at the party were saying like, oh, it's going to be Sophie voted out. And I was like, no, it's not. Like, it's never that person. Like, she's in a great spot. And obviously, lo and behold, it's not that person. It wasn't Sophie. She was in a wonderful position. And so, yeah, I mean, she was in that position of being on the disaster tribe. If you can make it through on the disaster tribe, you are golden for a little while going into the merge. So we all knew what was going to happen, but I was happy to see the 2 tribes.
I mean, everyone in the chat, we've got some opinions as well. Jay is saying, my reaction, yay swap, nay swap. Glad we just had a swap, because it was too uneven. And Gabe also says, could have done the Philippines swap, which would have been interesting as well. When it comes to this swap, obviously, we have some kind of interesting dynamics. Obviously, we will get to Hina. Let's talk about Keller, the tribe that won. What are your kind of thoughts so far on that dynamic? Because you've got obviously Shannon, who did her bonding. And I actually because Tori, you didn't see this. I had done loads of polls. So we got something for you. We put little polls up. It didn't happen this week. But one of the polls that I did actually put up that we didn't air was Shannon's kind of bonding with the tribe genuine or performative? So looking at that and then looking at that tribe as a whole, what did you like both think about the Keller like dynamics? And Tori, I'll go to you first.
So are you asking specifically about Shannon, or do you want me to talk about just like Keller in general?
Overall, doesn't matter.
So we saw a lot of obviously Shannon and her spirituality. And I do think like her being spiritual in general, like at first at least, was genuine, and that's just like how she is. I do think that she was realizing like the response was like positive, and I don't know if people's response was more just like them being polite, and she's like taking that as a positive response. And so she's kind of like playing it up more as a result, and then using that as a strategy, if this is all making sense. So I also to say, like, I wonder if this is kind of like by accident, and so she's using it now as strategy. I do think that her connection with Christina was genuine, and I really liked seeing that. Yeah. I really like seeing those really genuine connections, and somebody brought it up. I can't take credit for like this recognition of why it was genuine. I think Janet is the one that said the reason why we thought it was genuine is because they were having this bond when nobody else was around. Like they were like having these tears not in front of everybody so that they could like perform and like act this way or whatever, or have their story told in front of the whole tribe. So I do think that that was genuine, but in terms of like the other stuff, I think it was mostly becoming like performative.
Yeah. Phil?
Yeah, I think that it's to me, it feels like if you go and you're in a group of people that you don't really know and you tell a joke and people laugh, you're going to try to keep going back to something similar to that joke. You're not going to tell the same joke, but you're going to, hey, I made them laugh over that. Now I'm going to say another joke and I'm going to look over. Did they laugh at that one? Let's see what happens. I think Shannon is authentically Shannon. And I think that's something that a lot of people on the internet, especially with her saying, getting rid of my hippy dippy stuff. And I found Jesus and all of that. I know a lot of people on the internet have given her a hard time for that. I do think people evolve and change. And I think that there's like a really big pushback on that in our culture for some reason. Like people can't change their minds. It's you did this, you voted this, you said you were this. That means you are that forever. I think that Shannon is authentically her. I just think Shannon's also figuring out who she authentically is. And I think that when she is doing this in the show, she's doing it because this is really what she believes, but also because somebody is also going along with it. And then she says, oh, if you're going to support that, I'm going to keep on going this route. So I think that Shannon's doing her best. I think she overplayed though. And I think she's probably going home tonight. I really do.
Me too.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think, Tori, you made a really great point of when it was her and Christina. First of all, loved the Christina content. Anytime Christina's on my screen, I'm like, love the girl. I think that moment with Christina, I think was really genuine. You saw the bonding there. But I do agree that when it came to the montage, I was like, I understand, like, I understood Sage's point of view because it was, when you think back to the kind of the first couple of episodes, it was kind of the hippy dippy, it was the spiritual, it was the breathing in and out. But then all of a sudden I'm like, oh, okay, spiritual, great. So I do want to touch on Sage though, because I adore Sage. Don't mind the poop talk, don't mind the pee talk. I think go live your life, it's great. What I love about Sage is how great of like a reads she has on like the game itself. Like I think when it comes to this cast, I think I've made the claim that Sage has one of the best kind of awarenesses and reads on the game in general. What did you both think kind of about Sage here? Because obviously the statistics of it are Sage and Shannon are the two lone Ulis on this tribe. They're probably the two targets. So that's why I kind of bring them up in that sense. Phil, I'll go to you first.
I think that Sage, I don't know. I think the edit has done Sage dirty. I don't know enough about Sage as a person. I feel like we're being set up for her to have this rivalry with Shannon. Why didn't we get that early on? They could have done such a better job of telling this story with Sage on the Uli tribe to start, where Sage could have had kind of a star type feeling of, I'm being left out. I don't know what's going on. I wish that I had more information. So when I start to hear Sage talk, I feel like Sage is being set up to be right here and be the one who says, I'm seeing through Shannon. I hope you're all seeing through Shannon. She's closer with Savannah. Let's get her out, and have the rest of the tribe say, sure, that makes sense. But it's just like, she still hasn't shown enough of her work. I still don't really know exactly where this is going. So until I see tonight's episode, I don't know if she actually is that good of a player or if she's just making the right read in a situation where it's pretty easy to realize it's either you or her.
Yeah, that's completely fair. Tori, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm with kind of both of you. Like in these past couple of episodes, I think we've seen more of Sage to the point where I agree with you, Ollie. Like I think she has a better read on people than we thought that she would, just because in like the beginning she was making like a lot of like poop jokes, pee jokes, like just seeming like kind of like a goofy out there person. And then, you know, she comes into this new tribe talking about blackheads and saving them and like whatever. But then like she makes these like really insightful comments that like really nobody else is picking up on. It's like, oh, this girl is really smart. So yeah, kind of both. Now to Phil's point, like I'll never understand, like, with these hour-and-a-half episodes, like, yes, I understand that you want to focus on the disaster tribe, the tribe that's going to tribal council. I get that. Like, we need to focus on them, but with these long episodes, like, I don't understand, like, why we can't spend more time focusing and developing, like, a story that's clearly, like, developing more than what we're seeing back at camp. Like, I don't understand not being able to spend, like, 5 more minutes on that that storyline, just to, like, give us a little bit more of an understanding and help us know and love that character more. I don't know. That's just, like, a little bit of a side note and could be a whole other conversation. But I think, yeah, it would help us just, like, be able to, I don't know, appreciate Sage as a player a little bit more.
I want to jump in on that too, because we're rewatching Philippines for our Patreon, because we're going every season matters. So we're going in order. We suffered through One World and now we're on the Philippines. And when you watch Philippines, the episodes are 42 minutes long, 42 minutes long. And we have a disaster tribe. Exact same thing as this situation, right? We watch a tribe lose 4 times in a row. Although, you know, here it's actually easier. They should have been able to do a better job telling the story because Jake gets medevac. So they actually only had to do it for 3 episodes. This had to do it 4 episodes. When you watch Philippines again, though, the collab tribe you barely get to know, but you know where Jeff Kent and you know where Penner stand. And that's really all you need to know about that tribe. The Tandang tribe, you know everything about everyone except Artis. Artis doesn't matter, but you know that Abby and RC are supposed to have a relationship. Abby says, screw you. Pete is manipulating the hell out of them. Scoopin and Lisa are doing their thing. You know everything about that group of 5. That's and you could make that argument on this season with Uli. Okay, well, we know Savannah, we know Rizzo, we know where Nate stands. Jawan's edit has made no sense. Sage's edit has made no sense. Shannon's edit hasn't really made any sense. And Savannah and Rizzo, we all know the elephant in the room of why they're getting the edit they are. If they weren't doing what they're going to do, I don't know what's going on here on Survivor now, so I won't say anything else. But it's like, if they weren't doing what they were going to do, I don't even know if we'd be spending that much time with them. I've really lost faith that they can tell this story because, like you said, Tori, they have 60 full minutes of TV. You have almost 20 minutes more. You're a third, or you're doubling the length, or whatever it is. It's like 2/3, whatever it is. You have the length now to tell a complete story. And you were telling a better story the first time you'd done 3 tribes in 17 seasons. Yeah. And on this season, you're doing it every year, and you can't figure out how to tell a disaster tribe story. That's crazy to me. That's crazy.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I completely agree. I mean, I've always been someone that has critiqued the editing, because I've always said as soon as someone doesn't get a confessional, I'll be the first person to be like, why didn't this person get a confessional? What that, like, why are we not allowed to know about them? As Tori knows, we did a thing called Babes and Buffs. Every like person I loved was an under-edited like queen. So like that just sums me up basically. But no, you're completely right, Phil. Like I do think the editing has been very skewiff. I think it's been skewiff for quite a while. I will say I think they did do a decent job when it came to 46 and 47, and I was like, oh, we're on the rise. And then 48 happened. But it's one of those, I'm hoping that we're going to start to see more from people, because I want to know more about the original Hina people. I want to know about Jawan's side of things. Like, I want to know all those things. Just popping back to the chat quickly, just because the chat has been popping off. Well done, guys. They're just commenting on Sage. Jay thinks that Sage is Caroline 2.0. Gabe is also saying Sage self-aware she was on the bottom in red and she kind of knows it's between her and Shannon. Zan says she is smart, but does she have the connections, or will she kind of go chaos cast mode, which I kind of, and that's my worry about it as well. Also, Zan's this comment, no, we will be not running ads for blackhead jars. I just wanted to say that. They will not get maybe Survivor Specialist, who knows?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a really interesting dynamic with that tribe. Let's move over to kind of new Hina, which is obviously you've got Savannah, Rizzo, Nate, Juwan, Jason, Matt, Sophie. What did we feel about this tribe? Because I'll start by saying I think Sophie did a really great job. Sophie killed it. With the elephant in the room of knowing what we know, I'm curious about what this edit is with Sophie, because obviously Disaster Tribe, getting a lot of Sophie. but Sophie's been making a lot of kind of good, smart decisions. So I'm intrigued to know what happens. Tori, I'm going to go to you first. What were your thoughts on kind of Hina?
I love Sophie, and the chat knows it. They're gonna be like, "Shut up about Sophie already." Yeah, they all know I'm a Sophie stan. She's my winner pick, and yeah, I'll say no more for now. But yeah, she did an amazing job, and I feel like for Sophie right now at this point in her game, and this is looking way ahead into the future. I feel like it can go one of two ways. I feel like she can kind of like ride along with her newfound kind of like alliance, and that can like grow into some sort of new alliance or different alliance once she makes it to the merge. And she can kind of like fly along with them, and they can kind of pick each other off, kind of seeing the others as still being like the majority alliance. Or she can kind of make it into the early merge, and they can see her as being like, okay, we've used her as a number. Her story is too good being from that disaster tribe. We can't let her get too far into the merge, so we don't really need her anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So all to say, like, she's either making it to the end and like winning because she's gonna like fly under the radar with the people wanting to pick off like the majority, or she's gonna get booted like early merge, I think, just because like they're gonna be too worried about her being a threat. So I'm excited to see Sophie's game either way. But moving back into Hina, I think that I like the people on this tribe. I was more interested in this tribe overall. Obviously, we saw more of them because they're the ones that lost immunity.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed seeing the gameplay over there between like Matt and Jason, even though it was messy, but that's part of what made it fun. So yeah, that's getting a little ahead, I think, but I did really enjoy that.
No, that's fine. Like, I appreciate it. Phil, what are your thoughts on it?
It's so hard when you do know the elephant in the room, but also Jason's edit right now is so bad. Like, and I'm not even just talking edit. When I'm watching the TV show, I don't know Jason at all. And so that makes it really hard because you get in this type of situation. You get in a situation where it feels like it's 5-on-1 and you're fighting for your life. That's an editor's dream. That's a storyteller's dream. You now have an underdog. Let's make this happen. Instead, last week we got Jason saying, I will protect you and we won't vote you out when I get back with the people I'm really good with, which to me was just what that's the worst take ever. I don't understand what you're doing. It makes sense they voted out Matt because I think Matt had more game.
Especially
but then
they're the minority. Like
yeah, exactly. Well, and that's Will said on our podcast, he goes, what would be the alternative? If you're not voting out us, who are you voting out? The Survivor Specialist. Yes, exactly. Which also on the Survivor Specialist, we don't say Hina or Uli anymore, or Kella, whatever. It's blue and yellow because we can't remember the tribe names either. So Ali, I'm impressed that you're remembering them, or at least have the wherewithal to write down notes because we don't do that either. But when I look at this tribe, I want to know more. What I'm most invested in at this point with this tribe isn't what's going to happen if they lose tonight. It's who does Sophie replace when push comes to shove? Because I do think that Sophie's edit, I always talk about it's circumstantial versus necessity, like whatever it is, right? Like whatever it is. Sophie has been our narrator just because. Alex might have more confessionals. He might have more screen time, but Alex did the journey in the first episode. He found the idol in the third episode or second episode, whatever episode it was. Yeah. And they've been losing. Sophie only has that they're losing, and she's right on his heels. I feel like Sophie, I know more about her. I know how people really do feel about her. We heard a lot about that tribe saying, we love her. She's showing us the real her. Is it going to be Sophie, Savannah, Rizzo? Is it going to be Sophie, Savannah, Nate? Is it going to be Sophie, Rizzo, Nate? Is it going to be Jawan somehow gets in there? I feel like the way they're setting us up is Jawan's going to be the one who gets blindsided, so Sophie will come in. Yeah. But that won't happen until post-merge. I'm with you, Tori. I think either Sophie goes early in the post-merge or Sophie goes to the end. And right now, what I'm seeing, I think Sophie's at the end. So for me, the drama, I hope that tribe doesn't lose tonight because that will be brutally obvious. And that'll be a tough episode to watch because to me, it's just Jason goes home. I don't know a scenario where he doesn't.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like I'll wait for that for now because we're gonna have a little break and then I kind of want to go on to like the hypotheticals and what we think of this episode. Before we do, I just want to shout out the chat because you're doing great things. Wild West is in the chat going Matt to Jason for the boot. And then Jay also says Jason is the puzzle king, God, Phil. And but that is my only thing of Jason. I'm like, Jason's amazing at puzzles.
Oh yeah.
Great. I'm not. How I bombed. And then like you've got also Gabe in the chat going, shouldn't blue and yellow swap tribes throw the challenge this episode? You logically want numbers advantage at merge. We could see that. But right, we're going to take just a little quick break. We're going to show you an ad just so we can freshen our minds up. And then we're going to talk about more predictions and kind of what we would like to do if we were in this game. That's why I want to kind of go on. But we're going to take a ad from our lovely person, Katie Tedesco.
Do you have what it takes to outwit, outplay, and outlast? Katie does. Since 2015, she's been handcrafting Survivor treasures for super fans just like you. Hidden immunity idols, she's got them. From one world to the Philippines. Every piece is designed and created by Katie herself. Check this out. Katie's brand new tribe emblem coin, a collectible inspired by Survivor All-Stars, a must-have for any super fan. Keychains, oh yeah. Ride along with Keith's legendary Tuk Tuk or try your luck with the Do or Die twist. What is that, the most famous stick in Survivor history? Yes, that stick. Katie doesn't stop at idols. Oh no, she's even bringing in international flavor with an Australian Survivor cookie idol twist. Idol nullifier, safe or not safe, she's got them too. How about something you can actually wear to tribal? Katie's Survivor earrings are hot right now. Want your idols on the go? How about keychains? Take your tribe with you everywhere. And don't forget Katie's most famous Survivor product, Survivor trading cards. Fans love them, and so do the players. With over 500 cards and full stats on the back, you can collect your favorites from every season, including the full jury from Survivor 48. Katie Tedesco Art is the Survivor super fan shop, made by a fan for the fans since 2015. Check it out now on Etsy.com and follow her on Instagram at Katie Tedesco Art.
And that was the lovely Katie Tedesco. I always love seeing those things because I literally sit there and I'm like, I would love to have something like that. It's like kind of like, you know, Todd's Pop Shop. I would love to have like one of his little pops. I was literally talking to Kishana earlier, being like, because Kishana just posted his pop and I was like, I really want a pop. But then it was like Katie Tedesco. I'd love the playing cards just because they're so cool.
Yeah.
But anyways, we digress. Obviously, when it comes to this episode, which is coming up in just under 30 minutes, which I'm very excited for, I'm just excited I have the chance to potentially watch it live again. So when it comes to the tribes that are formed, I've kind of got just a curiosity question to ask both of you. When it comes to both tribes, who would you want to align with? If you were placed on Keller, were placed on Hina, who would you kind of instantly kind of gravitate towards to? I'm always curious about these things. Like I always put my head as if I'm in the game. So I'm curious to know these things. So Tori, I want to go to you first. If you're on Keller, Keller 2.0 might I add, who would you kind of see yourself aligning with?
Keller 2.0. Okay. For sure I could see myself wanting to align with MC just because she seems like such a straight up, like straightforward person and like new version of Meat Shield. Like, I don't know, like could be a really positive thing. And she has that super solid connection, like whether I knew this going in or not, like she has that super solid connection of Steven, which would be like a secondary, really awesome person to align with. And then like, hopefully I'd be able to pull in Alex. Like that'd be a super solid 4, right? Like I would totally be able to vibe with that. So that would be my Keely Kelly foursome. I would love that.
I'd love to see that. Okay, Phil, what about you? I'm curious.
I would not get along with Shannon and Sage at all. I know that about myself. I'm old enough to know that. Like I've lived in New Jersey, I've lived in Florida, I've lived in LA. I know that these are the types of people, no matter what part of the country I'm in, we are not friends. That just doesn't happen. It's nothing against them. It's probably more me, but I just don't have that type of mindset. And when people start getting really serious about stuff that I can't take seriously, I have a hard time. So I would not align with them. I think I'd get along really well with Alex. I think the two of us would get along really well. I think Steven and I would get along really well. I think I'd get along with MC and Christina too. I just don't know anything really about Christina yet to know if I would think she was a good ally or not. MC, I would kind of like because I don't think she knows the game that well. And I think she's probably been open with her tribe. So if I could have a group of 4 of Alex, MC, and Steven, yeah. I think, Tori, did you say the exact same thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, good.
Exact same
You're
thing.
out though. I'm in. That's the difference.
I mean, hey, maybe we would align then too if we're out there. Like, I mean,
Seriously.
personalities line. That's perfect.
Yeah.
I will say I'm kind of in agreement. I would pick MC and Steven. I would, though, personally swap out Alex. So sorry. I would put Sage in. I just feel like just that quirky energy I would be here for. And I would kind of just want to be like, I just want to pick their brain. I'm that kind of type of person where I just see this randomness. I'm like, what's going on in your head? Like, that is why I feel like I would just align with kind of Sage. But also, I feel like my secret, like, little one-on-one would be with Christina. I just feel like me and Christina would just kind of gossip. So that's kind of, you'd probably just see me and Christina just on the beach, and you just know we're just gossiping. We're just talking.
I love that.
We're talking about life, but we're just talking about, like, our people. I
mean, okay. I'd want to be a part of that conversation. Like, could I still join you?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, of course.
One thing I will say about Sage, like, one thing that would make her a great ally is actually 2 things. Like, one, this isn't necessarily a great ally sort of thing, but one sort of like thing that makes her, like, she's obviously kind of wacky, but one thing that makes her wacky but not annoying about it, to me, I guess, is that, like, she'll say something and then she'll just sort of like move on from it, it seems like. Like, she'll make like a little joke or a comment and I'll be like, okay, but she's not going to sort of like be obnoxious, I feel like, if that makes sense. She just sort of says her thing and then she sort of goes about her way, which I feel like doesn't really bother me or doesn't bother a lot of people. So that's just sort of an observation, I guess. But the thing that makes her a good ally, I think, is that, like, she is unable to hide her, like, emotions. And so, like, obviously she's not going to be able to lie to you. So I feel like that would make me kind of want her as an ally, I guess. So maybe that changes my answer a bit, but I still think that, like, MC, Steven, and Alex would be, like, most loyal.
I feel like that's why I would get along with Sage, because, like, Tori, you know this about me. Like, I cannot hide my face sometimes. Like, my reactions are fully on my face. Like, if I look annoyed, probably Morris did bit face, but that's just me. But I, like, my face can tell 1,000 stories sometimes. So I feel like that's why I would connect with Sage. Swapping over to Hina, though. Who from Hina do you feel like you would kind of see yourself aligning with? And I'm going to go to Phil first on this one.
So I have a rule with the new era that, and Tori, apologies if you're shorter than I think, but I cannot align with women under 5'4" because they always win. Okay, good. They always win. D might be taller than that. It's pretty much like 5'6" is the cutoff, but they're the best players of the new era. The women who are short are the best players of the new era. And right now, Savannah and Sophie are proving that again. It's actually really frightening. So I have a rule that says I can't work with them. I think I would get along really well with Nate. I think I'd get along really, really well with Jawan. Just the film that I worked in the film industry for 5 years. So I think that would really help. Rizzo and I would probably be really good friends, but I would always think Rizzo was up to something. So I think Jawan and Nate are where I would go on this tribe. At the end of the day, though, you know, to reveal my real survivor strategy, I think Savannah, Sophie, and I would get along really well too. So maybe like, you know, I'm playing it up a little bit, but I just know that Savannah or Sophie would beat me in the end based on how the trajectory of New Era has gone. So even if I worked with them at all, I would want to go to the end with Jawan or with Nate, because I think I'd have a better chance as me to beat them than I would to beat Savannah or Sophie. Jason's the only one I don't feel like I would get along with, and that's not anything against Jason. I just don't know who Jason is.
Yeah, that's fair. Tori?
Totally fair. By missed it, I meant like I'm like slightly shorter than 5'4". Okay. So I don't know if you would want to work with me. But it's interesting, this tribe, because you've got Sophie and you've got Savannah, 2 girls that I'd probably want to be friends with and like really vibe with, but it's hard because they're both really good. They're both really good at the game. I'm looking at the comment really quick. They're both really good at the game. And so to your point, Phil, I think I would vibe definitely the best with them. but I don't think I'd want to go to the end with them because they'd be hard to beat. So it's one of those things where it's like, at what point do you cut your best friends? Because I'd want to work with them, but at what point do I switch over and like start working with not that I feel like I could be, I don't know, maybe I couldn't beat Joanne, who knows, but like at what point do I switch over and start working with Joanne and Jason or something instead of the two girls that I'm friends with, and would they even vote for me at the end? So all else to say, I think overall I'd probably align with Savannah and Sophie, and maybe I'd ride it out to the end just because we'd be besties, but who knows?
Oh, I would 100% be riding with Savannah and Sophie. I would just like again, Queens. I always root for females. Like Courtney Yates, my favorite Survivor player ever. Like Savannah gives me that energy sometimes where I'm like, I just sit there and I go, yeah, that's my girl. Like I would just sit there. Again, kind of similar to Christina. I'd be with Savannah on Hina Beach, kind of just being like, did you see what Joanne did? Oh, oh god, like that'd be me. So for me, Savannah and Sophie would it be all the way. Okay. We've got a little bit of time. We've got about 15 minutes before the episode airs. So for the last 5 minutes of this podcast, I want to get everyone's predictions. So first things will kind of just be any kind of wild, outlandish predictions you have for this episode. And then I will go ahead and ask what's your prediction on who you think is going to be the boot? So Tori, I'm going to go to you first. Do you have any outlandish predictions?
I don't really have any outlandish predictions. I do think because of the reasons that Phil brought up earlier, like with it being like the two people kind of like on the bottom and the way that the tribes were split up, I do see it being kind of another straightforward vote. However, like I'm hearing like Jeff Probst keeps promising like these like unpredictable curveballs that are going to come our way. So is this going to be one of those episodes? I don't really know, but what kind of curveball are we really going to get? I don't really know what that could look like. I think the biggest curveball we could possibly get would be like if like the Keeley tribe goes to tribal and somehow it's not Sage or Shannon, and they like Shannon's connections, let's say, end up working out in her favor. Like, let's say it's not a misdirect, like what we're actually seeing. Like we're seeing, I don't know if you guys saw the sneak peeks, but we're seeing a lot of like her running around the beach, making these bonds with people. Let's say that's actually happening and what she's doing and the bonds that she's making are actually working, and she gets them to turn on like an old Hina. I think that would be like the craziest thing we could see happen. I do think that Keeley is going to go to tribal this time. And I do actually think that it's going to be Shannon going home. That's my actual prediction, because I don't actually really think that anything super wild and crazy is going to go down.
Okay, fair. Phil?
I don't think anything crazy is going to go down either. And I think that they are not going to end the episode or back-to-back immunity challenges without a puzzle. So I think that this one will have a puzzle. Jason will save himself. Great. He gets to survive one more week.
Yeah.
If I'm going for an outlandish prediction, it might not be outlandish, but let's just try to do something different. I think that Shannon's going to go as well as you, Tori. I think that Shannon's done. But my prediction here, if we're going to get a little crazy, is Christina's going to vote the wrong way. I actually think Christina's going to vote with Shannon, and that's going to lead to Christina being on the outs of that Hina tribe potentially, which might be why we're barely hearing from her, because maybe she goes very early in the post-merge. I think that Sage abandoning Shannon as quickly as she did, there actually was an opportunity for Sage, Shannon, Alex, and Christina potentially making an alliance. I'm not saying it would have happened, but maybe there was potential. So I'm going to say that Christina bonds with Shannon. She's been left out in the dark by MC Steven and, I guess, who's the other person? Sophie, I guess. By the way, she's there. And I think that, Christina will get left out of this vote. It'll be a 5-2, and Alex will kind of swoop in and replace her. And we'll have even numbers going into the post-merge, but I think Uli is ultimately just more cohesive, and they'll just run in the post-merge. That's my take.
I feel like, yeah. Sorry, you go, Tori.
No, that's all I was going to say. That's interesting.
Yeah. I do feel I can agree with you on that, because I do feel like if Keller go to tribal, I could see Christina being in the minority. I feel like I'm kind of in agreement with you that I feel like it could just be like my prediction is Shannon's gonna go, or at least that's kind of what I'm hoping. But I feel like if I was to say something outlandish, I feel like the prediction would be if Hina was to go to tribal again. I actually think Jawan would be the one to go home. I feel like if the curveball happens and Hina loses, I think we're going to see Jawan go home just because we saw in the sneak peeks about obviously everything that Jawan had accidentally been doing. Possibly I feel like there could be a confessional where Jawan goes, no, this has all been like a tactic. He's kind of like trying to do like a Russell Hart type thing. That's kind of like what I think maybe could happen. But I am kind of in agreement with both of you that I do think it's Shannon going tonight.
Oh, sorry.
No, you go.
Oh, I was just going to say, I just think that if there was any shot of Jason making it in back-to-back weeks, in back-to-back tribal councils, they wouldn't have shown him like stumbling as hard as he did. Mm-hmm. Like, not saying it was like as bad as it could have been. Like, it definitely could have been worse. Like, we saw Matt stumbling pretty hard too. Like, it was good to see him trying and like trying to make moves or whatever. But like, I feel like if he was gonna like really like survive, like with the kind of like a bit of a hero edit, obviously it's still pre-merge, so it's not much of a hero edit. I feel like they would have shown him sort of like not stumbling his way through that tribal council. I don't know. I think that if they go to tribal, it's gonna be Jason.
I think Ollie's fan fiction is more interesting than what we're going to get tonight. Unfortunately, I agree with you, Tori. I think look, I hope I'm wrong, but really all Jeff has talked about is it's really hot for the first half of the season. And then it gets unpredictable. Well, we're not done with the first half yet. So let's just keep focusing on the heat that they've barely even talked about, but Jeff keeps mentioning in all of the press. So I don't know.
Gotta be something.
Yeah. Before we close things off here, I do just want to show Jay's outlandish prediction, which is Yellow goes against Hina, goes again. Jason's shot in the dark hits, and Jawan goes home off a split vote plan. I mean, that would be crazy. So I wouldn't mind seeing that either.
Can I say one thing about that?
Go for it.
I don't think that they would split the vote out of fear that Jason would play the shot in the dark because he doesn't get a vote, and the other 5 are so solid. So I don't think that they would split the vote there because they wouldn't want Jawan to know that he's the expendable one. If that happens, I could see Jawan being the person voted out for sure if Jason's hits, but I don't think they would split the vote ahead of time because they don't want him to know that he's 5.
Smart.
Yeah, that's very fair. I mean, we've got literally under 10 minutes before this episode airs, so I hope everyone is getting ready for it. Before we kind of finish things off, I will just quickly throw out what is happening for Survivor now. Obviously, our schedule following the episode, we have got the after show. Which we will have the lovely Tracy from Survivor. Why is Micronesia? I don't know why.
I was impressed.
I know, my brain just went, how? Micronesia, I couldn't think. But yeah, Tracy from Micronesia will be gracing us with her presence for the after show. Then we have Survivor Social on Thursday, Survivor Stockwatch on Friday, and then Got Something For You on Saturday, where we will be joined by the lovely Mary from last season. So we're very excited to talk to her. But that's what's happening. Phil, go on, plug Survivor Specialist. What's happening on Survivor Specialist?
We'll be live right after the episode tonight. You know, I don't want to say come to us instead of you all, but if you're, we're gonna be live at the same time as all of you, so you can listen to both. Put them in one ear each. That'll be something. Anyway, so we got that tomorrow night at 5 p.m. We're live with Russell Muscle TV. If you don't know his videos, he does videos over here, so we'll be doing Digging Deeper with him. On Sunday, I have the one and only Liz Wilcox doing predictions and power rankings with us. And then on Monday, I think Tegwith, which I know I know like Tegwith's over on mine now. I'm sorry, but I have Tegwith, and she's going to be going live with Franny for Matt Chat. So those are episodes that are going on there. So we have a lot going on. I also, I'm just sitting here. I've been trying to figure out a way to get Timbertina, Sekou, Jessica DeBen, Chicken, Johnny Fairplay, Michelle, Carolina, Marisa, and then, of course, Sugar in the conversation, but I haven't been able to figure it out. So at least I got through the first 20.
You were so prepared.
That would have been. I would have appreciated that. That would have been funny.
I was trying.
I was literally naming guests for a second. I was like, "Dang, Chicken!" I was like,
Tori earlier said you have to survive their disaster tribe, and I was like, oh man, I got to figure out how to put that in. Of if only Timber Tina and Jessica DeBen had survived their disaster tribes, but then we had moved off the point. I didn't want to be a tool. I figured I'd be a tool at the end. Everybody would be gone by now anyway. So
Dang. It's so crazy that Timber Tina, like Sari, literally could have been that person. Like she could have been in that spot. It's so crazy.
It's insane.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to see her on 50. No, but first of all, Phil, thank you so much for joining us. Like, I will say I watch Survivor Specialists. The other Survivor podcasts are out there. But I love the content that you guys do. I will say to the people watching, if you haven't subscribed, go subscribe to Survivor Specialists. They have some great content as well. But Phil, it has been a blast. You know you're welcome back anytime. If you want to come chat for anything else, you are the invitation is always there, basically.
Thank you. I appreciate being here. It was a lot of fun.
Of course. And thank you, Tori, as always. Thank you to everyone in the chat. 5 minutes, get your popcorn, get your food, get seated, get ready, because Survivor 49 episode 5 is about to air. So we're going to go watch it, and then we'll see everyone for our respective after shows. But for now, we'll see you later.